I'll be having in the studio George Lowe. George Lowe is a former member of parliament for North Dine. He is also a practicing lawyer, but currently we have here Emmanuel Chamantingeja, who is a member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency. You know, East Legon is part, and on Lagos Avenue, he has one of his constituents and a relative there, Yabidu, whose son is in first year of one of the senior high schools and enjoying free SHS. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Lots of fun.
When I say that one, then I'm always laughing.
Why?
Anyway, kind of just everything just from campaigning, Yabidu, and then every free SHS introduction, just kind of.
One of these days, I'll take you to see she's a fantastic lady.
Yes, I think I need to. But
you can bring her
on the show.
Yeah, one of
That'll
these
be
days.
great. I think that Cote you will do that. But the Ivorian president, Alhassani Ouattara, has been in town. And a lot of great discussions between him and the Ghanaian president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, won't you say?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for having you too.
And let me say a good morning to our cherished viewers. I am happy about what happened with the coming of His Excellency the President of La Cote d'Ivoire. You know, it's not so easy after you have gone to court and won a victory over a man, for the man to show this kind of magnanimity and come over to visit you. I think that he has indicated to all and sundry that he's truly a great statesman. He's a man that seeks peace and progress for his people. I mean, even in our own lives, when you have had a quarrel, after 2 or 3 weeks, you are not very ready to do some of these things. So I am happy that he came, and I have read the issues that were discussed. I think that they are important for both of us, both countries. Issues about security. We share a common border. It can be very volatile sometimes because of smuggling of all sorts of things, cocoa and narcotics. So I read that in the partnership agreements, they intend to do some joint security things together. Number two, between Ivory Coast and ourselves, we probably produce 50% of the cocoa that is produced in the world. Instructively, for what we sell, the total volume is raw on processed cocoa beans. The total volume is about $9 billion. But when you add value to it and it becomes chocolate, I think that the world market value is $81 billion or something. I mean,
and we're only getting $9 billion out of it.
Yeah, as raw material producers. Again, I have read that cocoa price has come down considerably in the last 3 years, from a high of 3,000 to 1,800, something like that now. I'm not too sure. I am a liberal Democrat. I am a right of center politician. I believe in the market, but sometimes, I mean, for a developing country, I think that we must stand up to it and probably create a cartel that will find a way to take the prices up, even of the raw cocoa. You ask yourself, if it could be bought for $3,000 at some point in time, why is it 1,800? We must not always allow those that buy from us to determine the outcomes, because farming, I think, is a very difficult task. Okay, extremely difficult. We must find a way to keep a stable price. I believe that if the two countries work together, we will be able to improve the price we get on the world market, and by extension, what we buy from the farmers. This will improve their economies. This will improve their livelihoods. I hope and pray that the two leaders will be able to structure something together that will be far-reaching and ultimately improve the livelihoods of the farmers. Farmers in Sefi, Benchaman Katieso, I think they are deserving of a good life for all the hard work they do. Secondly, we must find a way to improve, to process a lot more of our cocoa and add value, so that we can benefit from the value addition. Certainly, if you can get 81 billion, Roland,
it means that we can get more than the 9 billion.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to continue to earn 9 billion if you can do a few things and add value and earn a lot more money.
How can we go about it in which that the two countries, or because we produce so much, a chunk of the percentages of the production, we can also have a say in perhaps price determination, etc. Because we know really it's out of our hands.
I know, but Roland, history tells us that at some point in time, the price of crude was next to nothing. It took I think it took a war between Israel and their Arab neighbors to skyrocket the price when OPEC came in as a cartel. Like I said, I am my own political, philosophical underpinnings makes me believe that the best way to do things is through the market. But when you are down, you probably need that cartel-like situation to help.
And the headlines this morning have been focusing on Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire signing pacts to make sure that there's an implementation roadmap for the International Tribunal of the Law of the Sea ruling.
Yes.
That's a good one too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have said, and let me reiterate, that I have tremendous respect for the President of Ivory Coast. He's taking the matter in his stride. I have heard, I heard that even some of his own people are accusing him that he sold out to his friends, the President of Ghana. But really, I mean, I think it was beyond him. This was a matter that was adjudicated by an international tribunal. It could have gone either way. It went our way as against them. I think he has done the needful. He has done the proper thing. Once a properly constituted court has determined what to do, I think we should just go ahead and have a good demarcation so that we put effect to what the court has determined.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. But we know the president had been speaking on a number of issues, especially strategic planning and how the two countries will not only implement the ruling and having a roadmap, but also how we can improve relations as far as trade is concerned. So let's hear the president as he spoke in his interaction with Alassane Ouattara, the president of La Cote d'Ivoire, the Flagstaff House.
Tuesday's signing of the strategic partnership agreement cements a decades-old friendship that exists between the two presidents, as well as bilateral ties between neighbors. President Akufo-Addo made reference to the friendship at a state dinner Monday night in honor of his Ivorian counterpart.
I'm happy to say that I have known and enjoyed good relations with President Ouattara for nearly 2 decades. As I indicated to him and the Ivorian people in May, it seems as though the events of our lives are intertwined and similar. Whatever happens to me happens to him, and vice versa. From being high functionaries of a ruling government to being leaders of the opposition, and now here we are again as presidents of our respective countries.
Tuesday's joint news conference was preceded by the signing of a communique by ministers from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. after which the two presidents also signed a strategic partnership agreement. President Akufo-Addo later questioned why ECOWAS as a regional bloc has failed to take advantage of cocoa to make it a true regional community and market.
It's obvious that if Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire remain in harmony and are determined to work together, the benefit not just to our populations, but to the wider group of people in our West African region. We should and can be, and I believe that now we're making it clear to the world that we are determined to be the motor, the vehicles that make possible the greater cooperation and integration of the peoples of West Africa. That has to be our future. And today we are pointing to that future, a future of cooperation, a future that can allow us to go over artificial divisions like language and borders.
The visiting Ivorian leader, Alassane Ouattara, who spoke French, expressed confidence in the agreement and says he looks forward to its swift implementation. Knowing the competence of my counterparts, Nana Akufo-Addo, I believe strongly that it wouldn't end at the stage of putting pen to paper, but there surely would be an effective implementation for the development of the two countries and also for the happiness of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. He has since left Ghana to his home country. Latif Idris, JoyNews, Accra.
I believe Cote d'Ivoire will just be about 30 minutes, so it depends on the jet that he's using, so we'll see how that goes. But Judge Lowe has joined us, legal practitioner, former member of parliament for North Dine, and great insight and great discussions. Forget about the lineup of school children that became topical issues on social media, etc.
Well,
Judge.
Well, good morning, and good morning, Honorable Jacob, and good morning to our cherished viewers. Always been a great discussion. I mean, Ghana has had wonderful relationships with Ivory Coast over the years. I mean, this is not new. President in, president out, I've always had wonderful. I mean, we are close in terms of even bloodline, where you have some Ivorians and Ghanaians who trace their genealogical.
So we have common heritage.
Yeah, we have common heritage. Respects. Yes, in some ways. So we are one people. Unfortunately, our colonial masters managed to divide by language, but other than that, we are one people. So we have a lot of things in common: our food, our way of life, and all that is there. We have a large chunk of Ghanaians in La Cote d'Ivoire, and so it's great that we are maintaining or we are continuing what used to be. You know, albeit the ITLOS had brought in new dimensions. And again, the whole issue about ITLOS goes to cement the kind of relationship that we have. We didn't take guns against each other. When it did happen, we decided to go for international arbitration. And the arbitral report ruling is out, and both countries are committed to going according to it. So I mean, it's good that we are cooperating, but there's only one small. It just brought my mind to, you know, when President Akufo-Addo went visiting his neighbors in recent times, not too long ago. He did promise, I think in Ivory Coast or Lomé, one of them.
You mean during the West African tour?
Yes, one of them. He did promise that come September, French was going to be taught in all schools at all levels.
Did he formally say that, or
he said that
the reporters?
He said that there. He said that. No, not reporters. He said that, and I have been waiting, and we are in October. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any steps being taken towards that. Maybe
I don't think government has a policy statement.
Maybe
we have to put all that into perspective.
I said maybe I want to remind His Excellency the President that, you know, it's one of his promises he's made. He's given a deadline. The deadline is passed. So if in case he has forgotten, he should go back to the drawing board, because Ghanaians are eagerly waiting. And then I hope also that in the light of the ruling in
the 8 loss case?
No. In light of the judgment in the by the Ghanaian courts, by the Supreme Court in the Atef and what is their case? The Gitmo 3. I hope
Gitmo
that
2.
Was it 2?
They were
Gitmo
2.
2. The president will be reminded that once he has appended his signature to an agreement, he must go to Parliament for parliamentary approval, because that's what the ruling says. So those should not be lost on him, and we want to see the pact that he has entered with the Ivorians, and Ghanaians have a right to know. So yes, it's good. It's good we are interacting with our brothers across the borders, and it's great that we have a policy which encourages all of us, you know, to stay in touch with each other. I also hope that they took time off to discuss the Togolese issue. It's very important. I would have wished that they had said more on that, because even this morning when I was coming, a friend of mine says, Charlie, the situation in Togo is getting worse, and I don't think that augurs
serious tension.
Yeah, it augurs well for us all, particularly those of us in Ghana. You know, again, we have a lot of relationship with people in Lome, and Ghanaians go and buy provisions outside across the border.
Ghanaians live there.
Ghanaians live there.
I visited there a couple of months ago, you know, and I was surprised a lot of Ghanaians.
Yeah, so really, I would
and
have.
And they are Togolese as well.
Yeah,
I noticed.
Yeah, so all that should come into play, and this should not just limit itself to the Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and its loss, but we must also look at it as a regional, sub-regional.
I see, George, you came well prepared. Taking a dig at the president on French and all that.
I just reminded
I don't think the president really
he did. No, he did. Go back to your tapes. He did.
No, I remember the reports.
Yes. So I'm just reminding him.
Is this something you can hold the president to and say, because you didn't do this? You know? But let's move on.
Well, it's a policy statement he made. So
you know the information minister, Mustafa Hamid. You wanted to make a...
Oh, well, I'm just, I don't know the word to use, but we speak of such important things as what we could do with cocoa and the unimaginable benefits it could bring to our economy and to the farmers in a place like Sefri Benjamin Katieso. But my friend George Lowe wants to remind us that the president said that you
think it's focusing on the mundane issues?
Oh, well.
But they're equally important if the president makes those comments.
It sounds interesting to me. I know the president strongly believes, and I think that it's not just him. I mean, if you live with people, if you have neighbors, you must be able to understand what they say. What I am not too sure of was whether His Excellency the President said that come September 2017. I am not sure. But these things take a little time to prepare. I want to believe that in much sooner than later, the need to study French will be compulsory at an appropriate level. I think it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't need His Excellency the President to articulate the obvious.
So it was important that I spoke about it, and it's even more important because it would have been nice if the people you are talking about in the Cocoa Village understood what the President of Ivory Coast said in French. To encourage them, then they know that we are not talking big English. Really. At the close of the day, I think that the cocoa is important, but also communication is even more basic to the attainment of all the ideals that we have.
If you want to stretch this argument, then here in Ghana, right here at home, charity, they say, begins at home, right here at home. How I wish that if I go to Navrongo, I can speak a certain language that the people in Navrongo
so do I.
Can if you talk about it.
But we already have a lingua franca or some languages that cut across.
So do I. But
all the ethnic boundaries.
We are talking about,
for example, there's Tree or Akan.
I wish that the farmer in Sefri Benjamin Katieso will be, if I go, I will be able to speak a language that he understands before he begins to understand the French language.
No two ways about that, but I'm saying that we think the French is important. He also
certainly.
So
let's move on. Let's move on. Government has asked anti-corruption crusaders and senior citizens to be specific with their allegations instead of making general sweeping statements. This, according to Information Minister Mustafa Abdul Hamid, will enable government deal with allegations effectively. Interacting with the media on Tuesday, he described recent allegations by former moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, the Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, as nebulous. The outspoken former moderator is reported to have said at a lecture last week that government official has started showing signs of corruption and further urged Akufo-Addo to immediately stop them. But we've had the Information Minister reacting and says, as a senior citizen, we would want to urge him to go beyond talking generalities to giving us concrete examples that we can put a hand on and make an example for people to be deterred. I remember Professor Mills, I remember Kufuor, I remember J. Mahama, etc., or J.D. Mahama, etc., all talking about, if you have evidence, bring it. But let me start with you, Mr. Chairman Tinge Jackson. This thing about tackling corruption and sometimes statements that are made generally by respected members of our society that tend to cocoon but also indict government of the day. Do you think the Information Minister's reaction is right?
Well, I think it is better, much better, than for him to have said, what does this man, he could just have put him off and said unpalatable things, and he could have acted as a man with a sharp tooth. Okay. But in this case, he's saying that, yes, you may have a case, but please go ahead, go beyond just the okay, yes. You know, I think that is the bane of our fight against corruption. A lot of things are said, and the people that say it are never able to come forward with the specifics. Oh, they say that the man became a minister and in 6 months he has built a house, or he is building a house. Yeah, so where is the house? Can we say that it is definitively it is my house? Okay. They said the man he became, and in no time at all, he has bought a new Mercedes Benz. It's okay. Particularly if you think that he was not deserving of that Mercedes Benz. And then all of a sudden, the man was a man of straw. All of a sudden, he has 5 or 6 cars lined up in his house and all of this. If you have the evidence, okay, I'm not a lawyer, but I believe that if you want to make a case at any judiciary or quasi-judiciary body, you must be able to prove beyond reasonable. That is the test, my dear friend, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yes, I am never saying that people will not be corrupted. I tell you every day, I'm a natural scientist. There is a principle in natural science, Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Okay. Corruption is something that happens everywhere. In the so-called advanced countries, haven't we heard of prime ministers in Israel? Prime ministers, after they leave office or in the middle of office, they are
hauled before the court
and they are sentenced to terms of imprisonment. It is not a peculiar situation here, but let us be definitive. Let us be specific. I think the problem is, it may be a cultural thing. We don't tend to be specific. We don't tend to be detailed. We don't tend to be fine, and in the process, we lose everything. The yes thing is a little too much. I really and truly, I think we must begin to, if Emmanuel Chermatin Ejakmo, Honorable Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Ogun, is found to have done something untoward, that breaks the law, let's be definite about it. You understand? It will help. In fact, for me, the real challenge is that if you speak about it and you are not able to crystallize it, even the man that is in the middle of being corrupted or corrupting would stop, will clean up his act. Okay. The trees have to say, no what ginger no, you sort of, I don't know how the English will put it, but so yes, I agree. I am happy that the Honorable Minister of Information did not come and behave like some others did. Okay, I am happy that he didn't behave as a baby with a sharp tooth, but he's conceding that, yes, honorable senior members, if you have proof. Recently, a classical case that has come up is that the most respected Professor Dai has come to say that the Vice President's convoy is made up of 17 cars. He 16 or 17. He counted 17 cars, 16 cars. The Vice President has come out to say, no, my convoy is not made up of 16. It is made up of 7. I have heard Ken Kranche make a point, and it is very true, that many times people just join the convoy and it creates a very bad impression.
It could be the DC or the police commissioner of the day who will also be attending.
The man goes to a year at Konongo because he has a dispatch. There are people, party people, non-party people, who want to join him so that they can get to Kumasi in 45 minutes instead of the normal 2 hours from Konongo. And then you will find a long convoy. And it creates the impression that the Vice President's convoy is made up of 30 cars. I mean, it happens every time. Okay. But I am happy that Professor Adai can raise the issues. I am happy that people are reacting positively to it. I am happy that Ken Kranche is saying that don't do this because it creates a bad impression. Okay. I think that this is the way to develop a country. I think that we must be open, we must be frank, we must be sincere about the issues. I am never saying that people cannot be corrupted. I am never saying we are human beings. I am a Christian. The Bible tells me that a fallen man can do anything. We are all fallen human beings. Okay, anything. Murphy's Law is an absolute truism. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
All right. This one even brings into sharp focus. I remember, during the campaign, it's a whole year. For us, we don't have a specific time. In the UK, it's May up to the time when the election is held. For us, it's the whole year. Actually, when the government comes into office, it's a whole year. It's a whole 4-year period for campaigning against the party in power or either the opposition, etc. And one thing that characterized many of the allegations was that the young man Okujeto had filling stations all around. And nobody has today brought one filling station or a picture of it, one, to even indicate that. Well, so we just make sweeping statements across the political divide. And that seemed to have caught on with the mindset of the neutrals.
You see, Roland, for me, I'm surprised, but I feel sorry for my senior. The pains he took through to try to
justify.
Not justify, I didn't justify
to
anything. To explain this in our way. And it is simply because, you see, when we are in opposition, we forget that one day we'll come to power. What didn't people say about John Mahama's government? What didn't the MPP, young men, apparently go on radio, what speculations they didn't put there? They didn't have a shred of evidence.
Point of order. I disagree. And I'll come back to this.
What didn't they say? They went on and on and on and on and said all sorts of things. People were doing, we went to social media and were drawing things and doing Photoshop. Some were even arrested. You remember?
Yes.
Omariwa Dia and others. They were arrested. Doing some things that you can't even think about. And we found that in opposition, we were happy it was happening, like you were saying. Okujeto has the most number of houses. He has the most number of filling stations per MPP standards. They know that there is an Okujeto who is an oil dealer, an oil marketing yard, an oil marketing company. But definitely they even go and take pictures of people's filling stations and say it's for Okujeto. They said all the filling stations in Kaswa sometime belong to General Mosquito, remember? And then he ordered for taxi drivers to go for free petrol. That if it's for him, he should, when they get there, you say that, oh, General says come for petrol.
So your point is what?
The point is this, what is good for the goose.
No, but that's not for, we're only talking about
wait a minute.
How we don't have to
yes,
for
but
you to become not
but
only
you see, I am saying that if we all want it to stop. Fair.
I completely disagree.
Fair.
So you want it to stop?
Yeah, we all want it to stop. Fair.
But
I'm saying that
you
don't keep quiet when you're in opposition because it worked for you. And then now that you are in power and somebody is saying it, then you throw your arms in the air and say, no, it's a bad practice. That for me is not the best.
I haven't said that at all. Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm making my point. Now, back to the issue. What is Mustafa Ami talking about?
Well, he's saying that...
Did he read what Reverend Martin said? Did he understand what Reverend Martin said? He has come with his own version to talk and go. That is not a mark of a good communication.
What did the man say?
Information. The man says that, he said two things. He said, yes, generally it looks like Akufo-Addo's appointees are showing signs of corruption, and that anytime you have a large government, you have large span of corruption. That's the first level. The second level, he mentioned several specific cases. He said the A+ issues and other things that are in the public domain. He doesn't think that investigations have been done enough and brought out. So the president, if he wants to fight corruption, should go out there and deal with those issues for everybody to know. Those are the things he said. So it's not that he got up and just made a sweeping paper, as the minister wants us to believe, and that is calling on him to operational or justify the.
So you're saying that Professor Mate was more specific.
I am saying that
the information minister would want
us to believe, and that he made pointers. There were a lot of things that are happening in this country.
What? In your instance, what do you think?
I'm saying that a lot. Bust is still hanging in the air. We are not today. In fact, yesterday, a police dispatch has been sent. A CID, a deputy commissioner who should be under probe, has been elevated to acting CID commissioner. In Ghana, it can only happen in Ghana.
Should be under probe for what?
ACP Mamitiwa, look at the conversation she had with A+.
It's a leak tape.
It's not a leak tape. She should prove it. No investigation has been done.
Who should prove
no investigation has been done.
This thing
yes, I am telling you that no investigation has been done to establish that it's a proof.
True investigation.
They claim A+ came and apologized. If he did apologize, so he perpetrated fraud. And he should be left to work free. It only happens in Ghana under Akufo-Addo's government.
Oh, come on.
I am telling you. Look, Roland, international best practice would demand that this woman should be on interdiction for investigation to go into the matter. Because as I sit here now, not a shred of evidence has been brought to say that indeed the
so you are saying Tiwa Adodankwa should have been...
I mean, she doesn't deserve to be acting CID commissioner when she's covering up other crimes.
No.
I've said it emphatically. Listen, I've said it emphatically because nobody has proven me wrong. The tape was in the public domain. The tape was in the public domain. Did you listen to Bright Odro? Did you listen to him?
What did Bright Odro say?
Go and play.
What did Bright Odro say?
Because, you see, there are people who sit down and then say that, oh, this man, he's not doing, he's not playing to our beat. Remove him. And then CID Director General is removed. And he's very pained. This one, I listened to him. He's very hurt. And then his deputy, who is in a scandalous situation, has been elevated to act. Is that the kind of police service you want to see? Roland, you see, this country, I keep saying that we play and play and play. One day we wake up and there's nothing to pick up. Because we are bastardizing all our institutions one way or the other. We are doing things the way we want. And I can give you thousands of examples. I have said that, you see, me, I'm giving MPP the long rope. But at the appropriate time, we will come out with the things that we need to talk about in this country. But we will be pointing it out to them. And I'm saying that this one, it will happen in the UK, it will happen in the US, it will happen anywhere, where there is a leaked tape purporting that the CID Deputy Director General said, we have covered up a crime that has been reported. That is it. I mean, there's no other explanation. You lead to the conversation. He says it's your own people, do the thing in such a way that it doesn't, in the and all that.
And you think these are the references that Professor Mate is talking about?
I am saying that he said several things. This is one of them. And I'm saying that we are living in this country, bust, moving Peter and all those things. We have not gotten any straight. The report that the BNI says they have, where is the report? Where is the report? We have challenged the BNI that there's no such report. They haven't come out to say this is the report. Roland, I continue to say that I have no faith in what is going on. I have no faith in what is going on. And I think that it's an indictment on the government, and that they better listen to what Professor Mate have said and do something about it.
Roland. And not justify it.
And not justify it.
Your reactions to the outburst by the legal practitioner and former MP for North Dine, George Lowe.
First and foremost, I don't expect George to say anything other than what he's saying.
You think that's a good reaction?
I mean, I think it is a situation of a dog has bitten a man. No news. This is not a situation where it is reported on Joy FM that a man has bitten a dog. That is news. I don't expect George Lowe to sit and say that, oh, everything is fine and dandy. No. George Lowe must find pointers. George Lowe must paint a picture.
Is it not George Lowe is asking some critical questions which have remained unanswerable?
I will want to take this tangent. I sat here and said that it is important that we prove, and that if we will just remain in the rumor mongering mode, it does not help. Roland, sometimes they will tell you that the perception is even more dangerous than the reality. Okay? And all I agree. But if you want us to go back, a government that a government that was formed by George Lowe's party supervised, signed off 51 million. Is it not something we can talk about?
But
there are some of the issues that
has anybody stopped them from talking about?
No, wait.
No. Have we spoken about Woyome? So what is new about that?
No. So let us not say that at any point in time we will use, when you are in opposition, we will talk about.
We are talking about speculation that you couldn't prove. That is what we are talking about.
What is the speculation?
I'm saying that many speculative things went around.
But as for speculation, I think that is the same thing we are talking about.
Yes, and that's why I say that we should move away from there.
It doesn't take anything away that when there is corruption, we talk about it.
Yes, of course. Nobody is stopping anybody from talking about corruption.
George, me and you, we are saying that let us not speculate.
Yeah.
If they say that Okuyato Blackman has filling stations and nobody can point to a filling station, so be it.
He's saying that those are the actions which had led to
the
ongoing perception.
It's the same thing that is happening here. It's the same thing that is happening here.
So let's stop it.
And for which now Professor Mate would have to come and make some.
I will come back to Professor Mate's case.
For which even the information minister now will have to come and justify or perhaps maybe rebuke Professor Mate for making sweeping statements.
Roland,
Sir.
I want to make a clear distinction between established acts and speculation. What we are saying.
But established acts are established acts, so
yes,
they are not pointers in any way.
I think I am surprised.
The parameters of those acts have been defined.
I am surprised with my friend George, because you see, I have sat here and said that as for the speculation, it didn't help then, it will not help today. Okay. It didn't help then.
I'm saying those that happened today were funded by activities of yesterday. That's all I wanted to bring.
Be that as it may.
Yes, so if we want to stop, we should stop. But we didn't criticize it when it was there.
But why?
So we should criticize. That's what I'm saying.
But if I criticize today, you are sitting here and criticizing the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if you are done, if you have stopped your boys then, your MPP boys then, maybe today.
Have you stopped your boys?
We have.
Have you stopped your boys?
Oh, have you heard our boys say that all these things going on? A plus and others.
What has gone on?
If I say that when
you will talk about it.
It's A plus. It's A plus and MPP. No, it's A plus and MPP.
But what is
A plus and it's the MPP people who are talking about MPP.
What is there about A plus? I want to come to look. You see, Roland. Yes, my point is very clear. if there are established acts of corruption, if people say that a road has to be constructed, they use
Mr. Chairman Tejako, if we have to make the conclusion that an action that is reservedly perceived to be corrupt has been established, it means that the known institutions of states had been allowed by the state or the government of the day to establish those corrupt acts. And I believe what George is saying is that those initial perceptions about corruption, the government of the day had allowed those institutions of states to establish them as corrupt cases. And so we have Woyome, we have bus branding, we have etc. that the MPP and the other side of the political divide, other than the NDC, would be touting. But he is saying that the perceptive acts of corruption, the institutions of states, for which the government of the day should have allowed them to take critical actions, have not been allowed to take those for those perceptions to be established as corrupt.
You see,
and that's why he keeps mentioning.
Unless maybe perhaps let us take the A+ one.
Yes, sir. There's been a tape. It sounds like, for my unprofessional view, to be the voices of A+, and the deputy.
She hasn't denied it. Say it is my voice.
It's okay.
I want to go to the genesis of the matter. When the matter came up, you know what you have stated here is that when the authority allows the matter to be appropriately investigated, you either establish or you don't establish. I want to ask, he used Okudato Ablakwas as when Okudato, it was said, I mean, I don't know, but if it is so,
it's been touted severally by
by it was said by everybody. As for that one, I want to state also here that I didn't hear His Excellency the President direct the appropriate state agency to look into it, for them to come and say it is true or it's not true. Did it happen? It didn't happen.
Oh. But this is very...
No, that is the point Roland is making.
Right. No, you go on.
To the extent that the authority will say that if a matter comes up, I direct the appropriate agency to look into it. I think that is where we stand. When the matter about the two deputy chiefs of staff, that's how you call it.
You know, there's another one, but let's not go there.
Okay.
There's another. A+ has his own title for them. But
came up.
You don't want to mention.
Came up. The president directed the CID to look into it.
Two deputy chiefs of staff.
Okay, you said two deputy what?
Okay, please go on.
Okay. The president directed that this is a matter that must be looked into.
Which one?
The matter with
the chiefs of staff.
The chiefs of deputy chiefs of
Are
staff.
they chiefs?
Okay.
A+ said they were thieves of staff.
That's
that's A+.
That's
A+.
That's A+. But A+ is not canon.
Well, but he seems to be the star.
Go.
A+ is not canon.
Let's go on.
He moves and shakes your back.
Very clearly, when the matter was
looked
into.
Would you say the way we have had the institutions deal with it, even to the point where there's been a leaked tape, in which reference comments by one of the protagonists on them, or even all of them, had given indication that they were the personalities on those tapes, had been dealt well by the institutions concerned?
I think so.
Have we had the police service come to make a concrete statement on whether they have a deputy CID boss, which is a division of the police service, make such commentary in a private conversation with?
What did the deputy boss at CID say?
In the tape?
Yes.
What do you think she said?
I didn't listen to the tape.
Oh, you didn't listen? Oh, no wonder.
I mean, but
because you didn't listen, that's why maybe I can excuse you.
In this country, I'll come back to boss. In this country, hasn't there been a Watin Jan tape? Hasn't there been a Samuel Oku tape? Hasn't there been a Kofi Adams tape? Hasn't there been a this tape?
Very true.
I mean, come on.
We are saying that Deputy CID, he said certain things to the extent that we have covered up. Look, he says that let us cover. No, he says
has been adopted.
No, we are saying that she says that let's cover up the crime.
All right.
Now,
I haven't listened. But the deputy chief of staff has come out to say say that the tape...
Is he an expert in tape manufacturing? We want the police to come out and say...
Does it make it conclusive?
It doesn't. We want experts to come and prove that it is not true. So it is the CID's job. Why are they not doing it?
All right, it's okay.
Can we move on?
Why are they not doing it?
What have they not done?
They haven't investigated the tape. They brushed it aside because the CID
has
said that they have. They have.
Oh, come on.
They said they will not talk about it.
Yes, please.
You know, when this bus matter broke, the NDC said, I think they started the noise. They said that they had used a company called, I remember, I think I was here with Bauer. They had used a company called Moving Pina. That was not registered or had just been registered.
Initially.
It was registered after the deal has been done.
The telephone number was linked to Alfred Obing's private office, number 3. He didn't have a license to trade in the product. The CID established that the company was registered. The CID...
When was he registered? It was registered after they administered a letter for them to supply. I mean, say that in Ghana, how can you supply something to a company that was not registered? It was registered after. So no, let's put that in also in public.
The CID established
I'm saying that the CID established that the company was registered, but it was registered after the contract.
I don't think that is what the CID
that is what it is.
Number 2, the CID established that there was no the telephone link you were saying was false. Number 3, it was established that you didn't need a license to trade. It did not exist in our law. There was a lacuna.
Listen.
So the CID, you had laid criminal charges at the door of Moving Pina.
And we still do.
The CID
we still do because
the PNI, I'm not sure
we are saying that we still do because
the PNI clearly established that the issues of criminality did not exist.
They exist.
As for the other things,
they exist.
As
the criminal exists. That one.
As for the other things about how the thing got contaminated and so on and so forth, there were operational things. I believe that there is a professor of chemical engineering whose committee is sitting and will present their report.
Is that what George is saying? That there's no finality to the issue.
What's that? You know, first and foremost,
yes.
There are operational things and there are criminal things.
All right.
Let us make a clear distinction.
All right.
You can say that in the way I did something, it was not proper. It is an operational
but you can't impugn criminality.
But we are saying that we still impugn criminality because in Ghana you cannot give a contract to a non-existent company.
Come on.
Okay.
The CID established that
the CID are not a court. Take them to court.
All right, let's go live to Kumasi.
Let them protect them.
Let's go live to Kumasi. Let's go. Hello. Let's go live to Kumasi. Daily Guide offices in Kumasi have been locked over alleged money laundering stories they published against Asante Hene. The youth are demanding retraction and apology from the newspaper. We're going live in Kumasi, and the police are on the subject. Ohimin Teria is the man on the beat.
In this property, and nothing has been stolen. Nothing is missing, nothing is damaged.
Wow, so nothing has been stolen, nothing is damaged. Beyond your presence here, what will police do? Because you've inspected the area and you think that everything is intact.
For now, we don't know who has done this, but all we know is that by the posters, there is a group called Kumasi Youth Association. Let me use your medium to ask them to come to us. We will sit down with them and know why they did what they did.
I was thinking that when they don't come to you, probably as a law enforcement agency, you can't take over somebody's property forcefully. You may be looking for them, searching for them, instead of asking them to come to your outfit.
For now, let us ask them to come. I know they will come. If they really exist, they will come. But they might have something on their minds. They should come and tell us. Don't forget that George is always better than war.
I see. So it doesn't mean that even when they come, police might not even make an arrest?
I'm saying we are invited them to come to us. We will talk to them.
All right. So that has been ACP Kwaku Bua, the Mensia Divisional Commander. He led his men to the Daily Guide office here this morning. And I must say, it's not only Daily Guide office that is housed in this particular building. And he says he's gone around with his men and including the officers and all the officials of the offices here, and he can report that nothing has been stolen or nothing has been damaged in this building. But as it stands now, a lot of people have gathered here, and he says he extended an invitation to the Kumasi Youth Association, their leadership and all the people involved to come to his office. And he says he may want to use the Jojo approach instead of going or being so hard on the group. And he wouldn't confirm whether he will make arrest or not. But as it stands now, the police had to hire the services of a carpenter to cut open the locks here. And I can tell you it's not only the Mensia Divisional Command who is here, but actually the Regional Crime Officer, Mr. Baba, and his team are also here. And I must say it's been a very difficult moment for some of the inhabitants in this office. Let me speak to this gentleman because his office is also housed here. Good morning to you. What's your name, sir?
My name is Ebenezer Osei Edupoku.
Okay, so your office is located in this building. What happened?
Our company is Access Freight Solutions. We are into freight forwarding and custom clearing agency in Kumasi here. And we came this morning to see that our gate has been locked. In fact, we are in the same building with Daily Guide. And they've locked the main gate, which we have the access to our offices. And we had no option than to wait for, we put a call through to the police commander, and he said he was on the way coming, so we should wait for him.
Okay, so do you feel secure working in this building? Maybe, or do you feel being a target for this group?
No. One, we feel secure because the reason is they did it without our consent, but we called the police. And as we are in Ghana here, we abide by laws. We have to call the police. And indeed, we called the police. So when they came, they've settled everything, and I think we are okay. But we are hoping that for the next reaction, the police will take another further reactions to get to the people who did this, so that we will know what we can do. Other than that, maybe tomorrow they can come again. We don't know what will come next.
All right, that is Access Freight Solutions, an official speaking to us. Mr. James Kwanzaa is the regional manager for Daily Guide. His office, actually this morning, his office was put under key and lock. Mr. Kwanzaa, okay, Mr. Kwanzaa says he will not speak to us, but definitely, as you can see, these are some of the paintings in front of the office. One of them reads Respect Otumfuo. Beyond Daily Guide, and they've gone beyond the and this is a notice with immediate effect. Kuya demand an apology.
Well, so we're bringing to you live reports in which we're told that some members or youth of the Kumasi Youth Association, they went to ransack the offices of the Daily Guide in Kumasi and had written some things on the floor and the walls of the office. And it's all in reaction to, well, perhaps they think negative reports on the Asantehene published by the Daily Guide on the subject of perceived money laundering, a case we know that brought by a former worker of the Ghana International Bank of the UK, against the bank by that employee, Mark Arthur, more importantly because of a perception or perceived wrongful dismissal. But we're on a certain tangent as far as that is concerned on the subject of corruption and etc. But let's make some conclusion on the subject.
I think I had the floor.
Yes, about concluding actually.
Yeah. So
and then you were
you see
you're on Boston and the conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, my friend George Lowe makes emphatic statements about the deputy boss of CID who has been elevated. Congratulations to her.
Oh, your congratulations.
Why not?
Okay.
You know, and George's thing is that because a tape, the woman has come to say that, yes, it is my voice, but I didn't say some of the things they have. How do they do it?
Doctored the tape.
They have doctored. That's the word is they have
It means
doctored.
that you cut, you remove some, you paste it.
Roland, I will challenge George Lowe. When Watson Jan's tape came,
Also doctored, they said.
he said, so if as for Watson Jan's tape, it can be doctored. As for Kofi Adam's tape, it can be doctored. But as for Tiwa's tape, it cannot be doctored. I mean, what kind of thing is this? George Lowe is sitting here and saying that we should take it. The CID has no capacity to do this. So why should they take it to? Why should they take it to? In any case, as far as I am told, I hear that the gentleman, A+, has come to apologize for some of the things. Is that not enough?
No.
Is that not enough?
At all.
Oh, okay. But I am saying, George.
A crime has been committed.
And was that crime on Kofi Adams' thing? Was that crime on No, you see me. It is this double standard. It is this double standard that I have a problem with.
Honorable, you see.
You think that as for Watija and Kofi Adams, if their tapes come out, and the CID or whoever comes out to say, and or even if they themselves come out to say that the tape has been doctored, we should end the matter there. But if another person comes out and they say that my tape has been doctored, that one is not acceptable.
Great. I am saying also.
I give you 2 minutes.
Yes, I'm saying also that, look, one, Yao Watinjan, Kofi Adams, and all those that you've mentioned.
Samuel Uko,
all that they said their tapes have been doctored. In what capacity were they in the first place? Two, no, everybody, just as I'm challenging on Mami Tiwa's own, people should have challenged that one. If you didn't challenge, that is your business. For me, I am saying from where I sit, one, Mami Tiwa is the number one crime investigative officer in this country.
She's now. Yes.
She is now, and me. I'm a citizen of this country. When something happens to me,
you are questioning her.
No, when something happens to me, I want to be sure that the officer in charge of my investigations is an officer that I can trust. As I sit here today, to the extent that the CID has done nothing to show us that that tape was doctored, I still hold a view that that tape was not doctored and that her voice was on it.
It's a view.
She said things, and until and unless that comes to be done, I am saying that she doesn't deserve the office that has been given her, and it's an indictment on the presidency who appointed her to that position. The indictment on the vice president who is chairman of the police council. It's an indictment on entire police council.
I have to end the discussion, but
I will continue to talk about this.
The NDC,
you are entitled to your opinion.
Yes, I mean, thank you very much.
I will not hold it.
Thank you very much.
You are entitled to it.
Okay.
But your opinion is not canon.
Well, thank you very much.
It is not like that. Speaking.
Don't worry. At least I am happy that you agree that I have a.
Okay, I have to end the discussions this morning. I've had in the studio Emmanuel Chamantingeja, who is a member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wagon constituency, and then also a former member of parliament for North Dine, George Lowe, in here. And thanks for joining me, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And that'll be it for AM Talk and the discussions this morning. We have to go back to Kumasi, in which Ohimin Tewia is reporting live about the attack on the Daily Guide offices over the paper's consistent reporting on the allegations against the Asantehene in that perceived money laundering case, but really is a case brought by a former employee of the Ghana International Bank. And now we go over.
Report on an issue which doesn't cause any mayhem to the community, the same community that we sacrifice our life to go where people don't go to voice the voiceless to just expose the rot and to inform the public, educate, entertain them. If you come to the office in the morning and you realize that your office have been locked with some unusual inscription, at least it puts fear in you. At least you just don't understand why you have to sacrifice your life, work for the nation, but then they wouldn't appreciate what you do for them. So
okay, I'm not cutting you short, but do you think that journalists are being targeted in this whole episode?
Well, I wouldn't say journalists have been targeted. This story that cropped up, it was a developing story and everybody was following keenly. And at the end of the day, we reported on both sides and we realized that indeed the man involved, the alleged money laundering, has been rubbish. So I don't understand why they have to do this. And I would say this is the first time I'm witnessing this, and I would say this is not good for the journalism fraternity at all.
In your own estimation, do you think media houses should be a bigger umbrella somewhere should work towards security of the journalists in Kumasi and in Ghana and anywhere? As far as this issue is concerned?
Absolutely. Our security is very, very paramount. You know, the work we do, whatever you do, definitely it will affect someone positively and someone also negatively. And we think we are doing our work. We are reporting or we are informing the public. But definitely someone may be hurt with our report, even though it wouldn't be intentional. So I would think journalism office or media houses should be properly secured, so that people wouldn't just come in and go out without proper checks.
Does it mean that you are asking them to be on alert for similar attacks on them, on their offices?
Absolutely. Like I said, looking at the nature of job we do, you may report without even thinking that you hurt the feelings of others, but then the person would feel hurt, and if you don't take care, the person will revenge on you. So it is very, very important that we must be secured. We must get some level of security if we want to indeed expose the rot in society.
Thank you so much. That has been Mr. Ibrahim Abubakar. He reports for the TV3 in Kumasi here, and for him, he believes, yes, journalists are being targeted, and beyond what is happening here, he may want the media houses, organizations to take some sort of personal security so that they are able to protect and secure the staff and workers of the company. And let me try as much as possible to speak to some of the residents who were caught up in this whole happenings here. Some is also served as a residential facility for some residents in Kumasi. So let me speak to you, Mama. Yeah, say, I didn't see here.
By 4 o'clock. Medawana, Metesa gave be married. What on Quadu, I want him friend say, Ma. Otiamu frame say ma kwedu ye de credo abegu mu gate na no e de ade kokko bi asan atworo fom ti o yes and me yam hyemi ti me begina asoro ha sei ti de na me kan ne say do abeye we dem de no be ko Force FM me de no be ko Force FM na ho na abeye sa de wa ha enti ye na me san tia mu say o mu ma me atwede na me fancy form enti ya na bra ya ogina hwe na da wo ma okofa atwede ni free Church of Christ wo baaye to mu de baa na me see form ti me see form na me kan ho no ana me hu say o mu no atro say enkrofo bi di kuya ena o mu ni daily guide for no na anya o mu ni daily guide for no na anya aha ena almost say daily guide for na tron be atia ye na no tumfo enti me hu santro ye in fact esama me ba form
enti mama mi say e dey na wo free efie abrosa no so see form
me di atwede wa ibra we ono na di atwede ni be see ha say ena wo mu esoso atwede ni na me san me huri me tra we no dade no so na me de me na me nu sisi ha ansa na mi sane afra atwede no
enti mi misa wo say ebe edi nkan ni a asemati say atom
ebi si da ebi si wa ha da
ama hu bi abomo say bi a china bi before betimi asaba
sani enchom ye ka ne say ensem trofo no wa ha ne de bibi betimi asan aba but ye fam adwoko adu me this time no me wa ha menya ni da ho wa ha
ani da ho no de na obeye oba omudoso no mobile de na obeye
say wo mu ba ye na wo mu doso no sanka mi wo mu dia sanka bra ka me mprima wo mu ento aprunu mo ne anka bi anka wo mu babome den tomre se wo mu so mrum emmo me na ye ne beba no na nipa so wa ha ye den ate fi so wo mu ba na anka jata mienu si kwana no a enti nko mu baba abeto gate ni
na menyi ni se obetumi akofa jata abetena okura jata be na ade ne beba
sani ameka krama kura wa ha sanka wo mu nya sa e che se hwe otie susuan pa se efie no enye daily guide for nko na wom oh hwe sofo bi na wo side say no oh ana access for yi so ha ana travel and tour for so wo ho so aho nti se wo ni obi wa asama oh to me say some sa bra sa nkrofo no ho so wo dia wo say wo mo office wa ha no say you mo nkwa na wa nipa so wo fie ho nipa wo fie ho so na ba ya wo betu me aprum no me ye wo dwan
me da se ma me ama kwadu ma me adwa kwadu she's actually a resident in this house, and she is saying that she was caught up upstairs and she has to be assisted on a ladder before she managed to come down. And she's so angry, as she puts it, she wouldn't understand why somebody would want to lock up a building which houses several organizations. Residential apartment for some residents in Kumasi, and he was locked up upstairs. So she says that beyond this, from henceforth, she wants to take some measures, and the measures that she wants to take will be maybe getting police involved and also her personal security. She believes strongly that this probably won't be the first and then the last attack on the daily guide offices. And beyond this, she says she would have fought or struggled with the group or anyone who lock up this office, no matter or consequences. So from the daily guide office here in Kumasi, I must say it's been a very terrible day for workers and staff of organizations that have offices in this particular building. My name is Ohimin Tewia. Let's see what happens from here.